The lights shine brightest in April, and we have some of the nation's best here in Lexington, Kentucky for the NCAA Women's Gymnastic Regionals and a loaded doubleheader of regional session play. Fitting to be here in SEC country. The two teams to beat up top, and a couple that are trying to work their way in as we take a look at the top left corner of our national bracket here in Lexington. Still to come, the number one team in the nation, Oklahoma, tonight, but Missouri and Arkansas, the teams to beat here this afternoon with Maryland and NC State. Thanks for stopping in here in historic Memorial Coliseum. Alongside Bridget Sloan, the Olympic medalist back in 2008, I'm Daniel Gilman. And well, Bridget, so many players, they strive to get here, and they feel like they have to be their best. But what does it take to get to Sunday's regional final?
Regionals is all about, in this day one, you're not trying to do your best, but really survive, which sounds really silly because gymnasts are perfectionists, but you want to do just enough to get to the finals because it is tough competition here. We have got stars across the United States, but especially here in Lexington, we've got some great athletes. One and only Morgan Price from Arkansas. You see that February 20th, she scored the first ever perfect 10 for Arkansas's program on vault. And taking a look here, Hannah Horton with Missouri, SEC Specialist of the Year. Arkansas's Morgan Price, SEC Newcomer of the Year. NC State, Ellie Hadrick, career high 9.975 on bars. And Maryland's very own Anya Reed, she has 6 all-around scores of 39 plus. So there are some incredible athletes here today.
And Bridget, we had our play-in yesterday. Today a little different. Our double dual quad meet format. What stands out to you? The biggest, of course, those 4 judges.
The 4 judges, and each team is going to have 6 athletes compete. 5 scores count, but the judging, you're going to drop the high, drop the low, and average the remaining 2. And the biggest thing for today, the top 2 teams of this session will advance to the regional final.
And one quirky change here in 2026, as the top-ranked team in each region, they get to choose where they want to start. So here's a look at our rotation 1, where the 8th-ranked team in NQS Missouri, well, Coach Welker chose to start on bars. Arkansas will start on 4, and then the Olympic rotation will follow as NC State finishes on floor. No podium here, similar to the regular season, but as you get ready for the race to Fort Worth, what's going through these gymnasts' mind? They just finished their warm-ups, getting set for their biggest meet of their careers.
I mean, there's a lot of energy in this arena right now. I love the fans that travel. Gymnastics fans are the best, in my opinion. I might be a little biased, but they travel, and they are so great about cheering for everybody. The electricity in this arena is top-notch. But really the fans stand out to me, and they're everywhere trying to support their team and ensure the greatest performance they can.
9th-year head coach Kim Landris, and a 4th-place finish in the ACC championships for NC State. But all things considered, they find themselves in a position in the 8-9 draw to try to sneak their way in to Sunday's regional final. When we're looking at score here, Lauren Wright kicks us off on vault. 197, of course, and above that would be something to aim for, but you imagine with the night session here with Oklahoma, 198 is certainly in the purview.
Absolutely, but these teams, like I mentioned at the top, they don't have to be perfect today. Really focusing on scores can almost hurt an athlete because they get so dialed in. If an athlete can just do their normal, do their regular gymnastics, the scores will come. And on the right side of your screen, you're going to see everything that's going to be happening. There's a lot going on today. But NC State starting on vault. You see Missouri on bars, Maryland on beam, and Arkansas on floor. That is where all of your scores will be held. So we'll be able to keep an eye on everything.
Sit back, relax, enjoy this unbelievable display of championship-level gymnastics as the junior Lauren Wright back again at the regional level kicks us off here on vault.
Yurchenko full, really nice job. That's a 9.95 start value for that vault. Really great body position throughout. Excellent start.
We move over to bars. We will certainly keep you informed. All major headlines as our day develops. The top 2 out of 4 move on to Sunday's regional final as the grad senior transfer from Illinois, Michaela Green, she went to Missouri to be in a spot like this.
Michaela in this leadoff spot. It's important for her to set the tone for this Missouri team, and she's doing an awesome job so far. Toes pointed, legs glued together. Perfect half handstand. Double layout. Step on the landing. Couldn't get that stuck landing, but a great start for Missouri on one of their better events. Mars is a great event for Missouri to get things moving.
We head over to the balance beam, where Maryland's coming off of a 10th place finish at the Big Ten Championships. Their 8th straight regional kicks off with the senior Megan Bingham.
Megan, handspring layout, step out.
We're going to welcome in the floor and the debut of floor here tonight. And you mentioned, Bridget, the atmosphere, electric. Missouri brings a great crowd. The Hog Nation for Arkansas is here supporting as Haley Klein, the junior, starts off on floor.
And Megan doing a fabulous job on the left side of your screen on the hardest event in gymnastics, balance beam. She is a reliable athlete. That's what you want in your leadoff, is a reliable athlete, almost a guaranteed hit. And so far, Megan is doing really her job.
And competing in her home state as well. As the first score comes in, Lauren Wright with a 9-8.
And that is a stuck landing for Maryland on balance beam.
Remember, 5 of the 6 scores will count. We have 4 judges. You take away the top score and the bottom score from each routine. Arkansas, a very back-heavy rotation here with the Price sisters and the standout Olympic alternate in Jocelyn Robertson as we head back, and Emerson Fisk ready to roll on vault.
Emerson with a Yurchenko full, very large step backwards. Not the landing she's looking for in this vault lineup. Haley doing what Haley does best, and that is lead off her team on floor. When I talked to head coach Jordan Weaver, I mentioned to her, I said, the floor looks pretty bouncy, and she said, it does, doesn't it? And that energy, that good energy just seeps out of you. The athletes know it, so floor is going to be a great event for Arkansas. Has been all season long.
And the story around the sophomore Anya Reed has been phenomenal. A standout all-around season, a transfer from New Hampshire, and a bit of an unknown until she burst through here at the Big Ten level. As Michaela Green with a 9.775 for Missouri sets up Lauren McPherson here on the uneven bars.
Big Tkaczyk for Lauren on the right side of your screen. Great transition. Missouri really dialed in on the basics over the summer, has been able to capitalize on that in their routine. And a fantastic routine for Lauren. Great extension in that switch half. Nice combination for Anya.
Freshman Fisk with a 9.65 that NC State will hope to keep out of the scoring.
So far, so good. Sticks are something that Maryland has really been working on, something they kind of missed out on at Big Ten. Had great routines, but weren't getting those stuck landings. Big step forward for Anya, but Megan leading them off of that 9.825. That's a great start.
Similarly for Arkansas, as Klein sets the tempo with a 9.85, and Allison Cucci, who was originally slated to go third, bumped up into this 2 spot, a regional debut for this freshman.
Opens up with a double layout. Phenomenal landing there.
Brings up Autumn Rardin, freshman from Ohio. In a session like this, Bridget, with teams sitting in the top 10, for Maryland and NC State, you have to imagine sub-9/8s are not going to do it.
We'll see. We'll see. It's the beginning of a very long day, but again, putting up great scores comes from great performances. And Allison, double tuck. Very solid routine. Wow. Arkansas doing what they do best on floor. It's really a party on floor exercise for most teams. And Arkansas is proving that they're having a time over there.
And the Razorbacks had a 49-3-5 on floor in Tulsa at the SECs 2 weeks ago as we head back to Beam. Raina Engelmeyer in the 3 spot after the 9-7 from Reed. Meanwhile, dual 9-7-7-5s kick off bars for Mizzou.
Raina, one of those athletes that is doing great. An added balance beam this season. Was only doing vault her freshman year, so really great to see her adding events. And Olivia Kelly on the right side of your screen for Missouri. That was a huge combination. Very difficult. Had some trouble on that stall during warm-up. Overall, really strong routine for Olivia and her Missouri Tigers.
9-7 for Rardin. The scores keep coming in on the right side.
Beautiful side aerial to 2 feet. Love that skill. Don't see it very often in college. And the dismount. Oh, tried to get that landing. Ended up taking a step. A nice controlled step. If you're going to take a step forward, the judges want to see it be controlled. So really well done for her on that beam routine.
We bring in what should be a terrific show, the senior Leah Smith, coming off a 9-9 at SECs.
So much personality with this floor routine.
Bring in the left side, back on vault, Maddie Hall.
First pass for Leah. Fantastic, stays in bounds. Great fight there. And Maddie Hall on the left. That was her first stick of the day for NC State.
See a good crowd they bring in. Top 2 teams in this day session move on to Sunday's final at 5 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN+. And there's some Hog Nation.
Final pass, double pike. Outstanding. Head coach Jordan Weaver said Leah Smith has learned so much in her 5 years at Arkansas, and she has improved year over year. Great performance.
Another freshman here for Maryland. You have to imagine what these nerves are like on the biggest stage. Emily DeFries in the 4 spot.
balance check at Big Tens here. Oh, unfortunate mistake. That is a guaranteed 5-10 deduction for a fall.
Now another freshman and a standout from Idaho, Maya Terry, flying through the bars.
Dismount for Maya. She worked on that in warm-up and gets to stick.
Missouri 10th in the nation on bars, coming off of a third-place finish at the national championships last season.
Just a dismount. Round off double twist. Strong finish, but an unfortunate mistake for Maryland on overall a great event for them. Balance beam.
And we move back to floor. A pair of 10-0s in the career of Morgan Price. She has not been a floor specialist. Did not compete at SECs. Joins her sister at Arkansas here in 26.
Big double pike for Morgan. Great height there. On the left, this is Ava Myers for NC State. Solid vault. Great body position and a really nice landing. Two and a half. Associate head coach Chris Brooks, he was excited about that one.
A 9-9 for Maya Terry. Our first 9-9 of this day's session.
Fantastic finish for Morgan. Right now, Arkansas looking to drop Allison's 9.825, and Morgan Price, that is going to be a big score.
That'll set the stage for the Price sisters going back-to-back on floor. We're going to get there in a minute. Let's head over to beam. Still awaiting the DeFreeze score for Maryland as Josephine Kogler, the grad senior, had a fall in the Big Ten championship here on beam. Looks to bounce back here, and it might be her final meet. Ava Myers, we saw her vault run. Tops the start for NC State with a 9.8, and we jump over to the co-specialist of the year in the SEC, Hannah Horton.
Hannah has such a great rhythm to her bar routine. Eases into her skills. Gorgeous cat handstand. Right in that vertical position and a stuck double layout. Having too much fun on uneven bars and coming after Maya Terry's 9.9. She was set up for a big one.
Now Kogler.
Triple series there for Josephine.
Maryland has to stay fall free here to finish out beam and keep out the DeFreeze 9.05.
Jo is one of those athletes that's been with Maryland her entire career, seeing the growth. And I have to give kudos to her because her growth has been sensational for years at Maryland, just getting better with every year, more confident, and does routines like that.
Now we head into Morgan's sister following a tremendous 9.9 routine on floor for Morgan. It is Frankie Price. Coming off of that tough injury last April. Ready to show out here in the Lexington Regional.
Opening pass. Double layout.
There's a big score again for Missouri. 9-9 followed by a 9-9-2-5 by Horton.
Great amplitude on those leaps. Full front layout. Little shuffle on that landing. But overall, another strong performance for Arkansas.
The two SEC teams showing out. Meanwhile, a moment ago, the anchor on vault, Sanaya Thomas for NC State.
Yurchenko full. Fabulous vault. Amplitude off the vault, distance from the vault. That is what the judges are looking for.
As we head to the anchors here in this first rotation on beam, the senior Maddie Komorowski, a second team all-conference this year in the Big Ten. Big Ten certainly showed out yesterday. Michigan State with a tremendous first session, toppling Georgia as they both moved on to tomorrow's regional final. And Tamara Eccles, this freshman can just fly.
Beautiful toe point. Missouri doing what Missouri does best, and that's great gymnastics, uneven bars. The assistant coach Whitney Snowden giving her little tips, not many she needs.
A 9.875. NC State finishes strong on vault.
Maddie Komorowski over here on balance beam. Showcasing complete composure. Maryland is going to have to drop that 9.05. Round off 1.5. Great routine for Maddie.
So Maryland avoids the crisis, keeps the DeFreeze score out, and the stage is set for Jocelyn Robertson. USA alternate in the 24 Olympics. Looking to close strong for Arkansas.
Double layout.
We're going to bring in our first individual qualifier as Jersey Bingman looks to round out rotation 1 on vault, the sophomore from Kent State.
Yurchenko full. Nice strong vault for Jersey. Wasn't quite ready for that landing, but an overall great performance for her.
Now we will have each apparatus finish each rotation with an individual qualifier. We'll have one all-around in each session as well. Getting ready for Zoe Middleton over on bars. She will be the all-around today for the first session.
Back pass, front layout, step out. Jocelyn brings international experience to college where she is having a blast.
And we'll certainly talk more about her as today rolls along. As we head over to Beam, where Ashley Szymanski, one of 2 Ball State Cardinals as individuals here in this first rotation. Zoe Middleton, also from Ball State, so the Cards brought their entire team to come and support. As Szymanski, in her first regional on Beam, we'll see her as well in one more event today. Is this your best advice when something stalls? Just dance? Just try to stay loose?
Whatever works for the athlete. There are lots of ways to stay loose. Some will walk around. Some just like to stand and get their composure. So whatever works for each individual would be my recommendation.
Meanwhile, Middleton, who had the first Ball State perfect 10 here on bars. Her 3rd straight regional appearance.
Great routine for Zoe. Ashley on the left side, acro series, handspring layout, step out.
More scores rolling in, a 9.925 gives Arkansas the first rotation by 0.2 over Mizzou.
Really nice extension, making sure that combination was connected. Very smart. And that's a stuck dismount. Competing as an individual here.
We head over to floor where Sophie Dewar from Brown makes her regional debut.
Opens up combination, 1.5, front full. Double tuck. She likes that one. Awesome job for Sophia. Representing Brown.
Let's take a look at our full list of individuals here in this day session. And I mentioned Ball State. They are well represented. The flashes from Kent State as well, as Zoe Middleton with a 9.725. And Szymanski with a 9.8 lead the way, as Jersey Bingman on vault rolled in a 9.625. Middleton, the all-around, one of 12 competing around the nation. as we are now live with Arkansas's head coach, Jordan Weber. Thanks so much for joining us. What a tremendous sight to see. What went into the decision to put the Price sisters next to each other here in this rotation?
Well, I had a feeling they were going to feed off of each other, and I was right. So I'm really proud of both of them. I mean, Morgan's been out of the floor lineup for a few weeks. To have her back in felt awesome. She did a great job.
Jordan, that was quite the showing for the first event. What do you want to see from your team going into these next 3 events? You know it's a marathon here.
Yeah, I feel like we really set the tone on the first event. That was really important for us. We've been emphasizing that. We just wanted them to keep staying normal, keep being consistent, and doing what we do every day in practice. That's all I want to see.
Well, hope you'll keep it up. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank you. Go Hogs.
So we rewind to a season high from Morgan Price, who has been dealing with a little bit of a groin injury. Good to see her back out there.
I love to see the mix of the lineups. That just goes to show how much depth. And seeing them feed off each other. I have a sister. We were in very different sports, but it is so true, the bond that siblings have, and to see them competing here together is so special. And man, are they doing a good job.
Well, we rewind to Morgan and Frankie as kids. The Price family names that we are quite familiar with as Frankie starts at Arkansas. Morgan set records at Fisk, became the first HBCU gymnast to ever record a 10-0. But a couple months later, in April, the injury hit. Morgan decided to join her sister at Arkansas. And here's Lisa Salters with more.
Morgan and Frankie on the same team is a force.
The Price sisters are on fire tonight. Everybody wants to be a Price girl. My sisters and I, we hold it with a lot of pride.
Having the sister duo, iconic.
My Y is representing my last name. It really comes from my dad.
My dad would want me to strive to be the best.
Morgan Price is the first flag in Arkansas history.
Family is everything to me.
Family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family!
The girls, they are just priceless.
Through one rotation here in Lexington to lead off an action-packed day of NCAA gymnastics. Arkansas has a 2/10 lead, as you can catch all the coverage of our NCAA gymnastics regionals today with second-round action here in Lexington, alternating with Corvallis as well, with all of today's meets available on ESPN+. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all championships. As we move over to Baton Rouge yesterday, 4 teams punched their tickets to the finals, starting off with Stanford.
Ana Barbosu leading the way, posted a 39.575. I had the privilege of seeing her at ACC championships, and she brings such an international flair to her gymnastics, part of the Romanian national team, having a fantastic job and having a fantastic time in Stanford, punching their ticket to the regional final. And they, alongside Michigan, advancing to the regional final. It's all about getting to that day 2. And the very own Kaylin Chio, I mean, we could talk about her all day. She had not 1, but 2 perfect 10s yesterday. Vault on floor. She is a machine and just does great gymnastics. Is really outperforming everybody's expectation, living up to every single hype. She is everything she's put to be at. And they are advancing. Home team. Regional final. Here they come. Alongside Clemson for the very first time in program history. Clemson advancing to the regional final. Won the ACC championships this year. They are on a roll.
It should be a phenomenal watch tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern. LSU at home, and then one spot maybe for Stanford and Clemson, potentially an ACC championship rematch, but Michigan, who toppled Clemson in Ann Arbor in March. It's a coin flip. It should be really fun tomorrow on ESPN+.
That is what the beauty of regionals is, Daniel, is you never know, because these teams, no matter what regional you are at, these teams are good. You don't get to regionals by chance, and NCAA gymnastics is just elevating every single year.
And we move on to the second rotation, where Arkansas phenomenal on the vault, 6th in the nation. NC State on bars as Missouri looks to pick up some ground on the Razorbacks over on beam. Maryland finishes out on floor. Our 4 teams here in this day session. We've got 4 more teams tonight and 2 more SEC standouts at 7 o'clock Eastern with Oklahoma and Kentucky as Rutgers and Ohio State fill out what could be a SEC Big Ten battle coming up tonight as we get ready for our second rotation. And Leah Smith, who was dazzling on the floor, waiting for the green light to kick off the vault for the Razorbacks. Atmosphere tonight, Bridget. I have a feeling there will not be many open seats.
And those are things I love to hear. Gymnastics is such a growing sport. Nationally, collegiate, it's the best sport ever, obviously. I'm, again, a little biased myself, but it's just so amazing to see what these athletes are capable of achieving, not only as students, but adding that athlete part to it. I mean, that's a full-time job, and they always come to play, and they want to win.
And a moment ago, you mentioned Jordan Weber switching around lineups, always fun. Well, the gold medalist and UCLA standout looks to be making a change before vault. So let's head over to bars, where the All-ACC tournament member Ava Myers kicks off this apparatus.
Ava has gorgeous lines. You see that toe point, the leg extension. NC State has been really aggressive in the detail. They've been working on holding the landing. And she did just that. Solid start for NC State. Ava being that reliable leadoff.
Big hugs all around as we head back to vault. And now, Leah Smith is ready to rumble. Question is everyone else ready for her? Smith, the grad senior, helped Arkansas to a 7th place finish in Tulsa at the SECs. Certainly a shake-up as Smith did not compete here in Tulsa. Part of a 49-1-5 rotation for Arkansas in the SECs. As the green light has been given, and we move over on the right side of our 2-box to Emily DeFries on floor for Maryland.
Opening pass here for Emily. Double tuck. Little shuffle backwards. You saw that front foot come up in her finish. And over on the left, Leah Smith, here she goes. She's got one of the best full twist senior Chenkos, in my opinion. Amplitude, body position, and a stuck landing.
Long wait, not a problem.
Great start for Maryland. Having that mistake in the first rotation, they really want to get that momentum back and that energy back on floor exercise.
So the leaders from rotation 1, Mizzou takes over on beam, and Rayleigh Jackson in an unfamiliar position here leading off in this apparatus.
Nice connection, front aerial to back handspring. Looked like her center was a little bit off, but she was able to keep those arms moving.
Bring in Carson Fisk on the right side of your screen, the freshman from NC State, after a 9.75 for Myers.
Very nice full turn. Really setting the tone for Missouri on balance beam. Just the dismount. Excellent start, and Emerson on bars. Another fantastic routine.
And celebration. Both sides with stick sellies and a new season high for Leah Smith. And you're wondering what the change was for Arkansas. Allison Cucci moved down to the 6th spot. Everyone else bumped up one as Jocelyn Robertson looks to follow that 9-9.
Big vault here. Wow! I'm not going to do a good job of explaining just how difficult that vault is. Wow.
Bridget's speechless.
Literally.
Should say all it needs to say. We'll move over to floor where Jo Kogler, her second routine of the day. Of course, it goes without saying that all of these gymnasts basically put together an entire meet as their warm-up, and this is their second meet of the day, physically.
First pass for Jo, double tuck. Nice finish. Great leap there. Jo really focusing on the detail, leg extension, pointed toes.
This follows a 9-8 from DeFries.
One and a half front layout. Steps out of bounds there. You saw that yellow flag go up. You'll see the white tape in a very fancy square. And the athletes are trying to stay within that white tape.
We move over to beam where Amy Weir looks for a bounce back after the fall on SECs. See that leg strain she's been dealing with.
Front aerial to handspring, handspring.
And on the right side of your screen, Madeline Reed in the 3 spot. A strong start for the Wolfpack after that 9-8 from Fisk. Meanwhile, Robertson with just a 9-7 there on that big jump.
Maddie Reed, so far so good. Actually celebrated her birthday at ACC Championships. Another year older, another year wiser, but still can do great gymnastics no matter what.
It's been a roller coaster of a season for NC State.
Amy Weir finishing up that beam routine. Had the mistake at SECs, but I love gymnasts and their determination. They are just able to put any mistake aside, move on to the next, because that's how gymnastics works. It is it is the circle of life, and sometimes when things happen, you just got to move forward. It's a great job for Amy there.
Raina Engelmayer waiting on floor. You mentioned that, Bridget, and you go back to that Morgan Price perfect 10. It came after her worst vault score of the season against Alabama back in February, as we welcome in the 2 box with Haley Klein on the left side for Arkansas.
Big vault here. 1.5. Small step backwards. When you're landing a forward vault like a 1.5, it's a blind landing, but when you take that step backwards, it's showing the judges a little lack of rotation, a very controlled step backwards for Haley, so overall, very strong performance.
A 9-8 for Reed. Back-to-back for the Wolfpack.
Reyna, one of those athletes for Maryland who got her feet wet as a freshman, and now she's in 3 events. Head coach Brett Nelligan was really impressed with her determination over the summer. An improvement. And a solid routine coming after Joe. You see that 9.675 stepping out of bounds. That was a 10th of a deduction. So Reyna getting them back on track.
Now Kaya Tonskanen, who was added just this afternoon into this beam rotation for Mizzou.
Acro handspring layout, step out. Could have been a big balance check, but you saw she held that ending, minimizing her deduction.
Carolyn Volk on the right side of the screen, the 4 slot for the Wolfpack here on bars.
On the right side, Caroline, mistake on that release. But a stuck dismount for Missouri on balance beam. That was a sigh of relief if I've ever seen one.
Tonskanen finishes that routine as Volk looks to re-up. Here's one more look at that.
Just way too far over the bar. That skill is a ray. And the trick is you want to get your feet off the bar a little bit before so that you can turn over, but just couldn't turn that over and get her hands on the bar. So she is going to start over her routine.
Bring in Lauren Williams, top 15 in the nation here on vault for Arkansas.
Really nice vault for Lauren. Top on the landing, but great technique throughout. A really strong finish for Caroline, but not the routine. So they are going to have to count Ava's 9.75.
NC State, Maryland trying to pick up ground. Can be a little confusing in the bottom right as the scores keep piling in, but Mizzou had such a strong finish to their first rotation. They sat 2/10 behind Arkansas as the Razorbacks continue their lead, and we head back to floor where Maddie Komorowski follows Engelmayer's 9-8.
Left side, Olivia Kelly for Missouri. Off to a strong start in this performance. Maddie, an athlete with such expressive dance. Beautiful artistry we see here. Last pass for Maddie. And on your left, Olivia Kelly gearing up for this dismount. 2 for 2. Olivia Kelly sticks that dismount, and Maddie finishes this gorgeous floor routine.
That was a breathtaking 2-box with phenomenal music to boot as the Missouri Chorale celebrating. Lauren Williams Morgan Price. So Williams with a 9.775 leads up to Price, who did have the 10-0 here with Fisk.
Yurchenko 1.5 here. Wow! I'm going to be picky. I don't think it was a 10, which I could be. I hope I'm wrong. But that landing, she had to fight for that. Great angle. Look at the leg extension, but right there you saw the little arm swing, so minuscule.
Remember, there are 4 judges. You essentially would have to have 3 10s as the top and bottom score get thrown out. Price, who had the first perfect 10 in Arkansas history in February. That was against Kentucky. Here we are in Kentucky's arena. If there was to be a moment. Score is coming out in the high 9.9s.
And Daniel, that's a 9.95 for Morgan Price. Highest score. And one of the judges gave her a 10. So I was wrong. I take it back. Morgan, I take it back. I don't like to jinx it.
We head over to Lauren McPherson here on beam following Olivia Kelly's 9.85. Now Mizzou and Arkansas just need to be top 2 to move on to Sunday's final. Right now they are head and shoulders ahead. We'll see if NC State or Maryland can pick up ground.
Beautiful triple series for Lauren. Right over the top.
Adric on the right. We highlighted her in the open.
You see that NQS average, 9.9. Ellie coming after Caroline's mistake, but wow. Really nice job. Ellie showcasing that seniorism of athletics. Incredible job. Experience is everything.
And a look at Shannon Welker. Mizzou, the highest ranked team in this session. Chose to start on bars. Here they are on beam, and now we move back over to floor for Taylor Reck in the 5 spot. At the same time, Allison Cucci anchoring vault.
Allison does a Yurchenko 1.5. She did a couple in warm-ups. And what a performance. Really struggled with that vault in warm-ups. I love to see the athletes bring it when it counts. Taylor Reck, one of the athletes on this team. Head coach Nelligan said she's the engine to this team. She brings the energy, she brings the confidence, and really keeps them going. Final pass for Taylor. 1.5 front layout. Gorgeous and floaty. Really nice job. Maryland getting that energy back in the second rotation. Love to see that.
Now one of the best in the nation on beam is Addison Lawrence in the anchor spot following the 9.75 for McPherson. As Mizzou is looking to pick up ground, they were trailing by 0.2 after one rotation. Harper anchoring bars for NC State.
Oh, mistake for Addie on balance beam. On a really difficult combination, side aerial back handspring. You have feet totally over the beam, center of gravity, shoulders, and just couldn't hold on to it.
With a 9.825 finishes vault for Arkansas.
Dismount. Small step on the landing for Addie. Not the beam routine we're used to seeing from her. But Daniel, we've talked about it so much about today is not about being perfect. It's about doing enough to advance. So the goal for Missouri is to just be in that 1-2 spot and then take a breather and get ready for Sunday.
Meanwhile, near perfection this season from Anya Reed, who has a program record 9.975 here on floor.
What is impressive about Anya is going to come up in this first pass.
Charlie Boehner, Penn State, our individualist on vault.
Anya on the right, round off, double layout, stands it up. And Charlie on the left side, that was a great vault for her, competing here as an individual.
Top 16 specialists will advance to Fort Worth.
Front layout, front full. Strong performance for Anya in that anchor spot for Maryland. A team that, if you ask Coach Nelligan, one thing he wants everybody to know about his team, and whether you've watched it, he said, shame on you for not knowing about Maryland gymnastics because they are so talented. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, Maryland's had that third place finish in the Tuscaloosa Regional last season. As we head over to an individualist on beam, it's the all-around from Ball State in Zoe Middleton, who had a 9.725 on bars. Middleton, the co-MAC champion this season here on beam. Teammate Mary Rose Bellin. We'll see her on bars here on the right.
Zoe, Acro Series, hamstring layout, step out, great composure. Mary Rose, double layout, small step forward, but really strong performance.
And Bridget, that floor routine coming up soon from Abby Royer. Round out our individualist. That vault run was a 9.9. Charlie Boehner.
Solid beam routine. Zoe, one of the many competing as an individual, but man, she's got her own fan club up there.
And that might be our fan of the day so far. The Cardinals flocking down from Indiana. And how's that for sportsmanship? Just getting some love, regardless of the colors.
It can be hard when you're so used to competing with your team and then competing as an individual, but that's one thing I love about gymnastics is you'll always see teams adopting those individuals into their team. Really special moments.
Here's another thing that's so unique. You get a gymnast from Southern Connecticut who gets to display on the biggest stage here in Abby Royer, the senior.
Combo full front layout. I love the personality Abby is showcasing with this floor routine. Final pass. Rudy's split jump. An emotional finish, but a special one.
Meanwhile, look at the bottom right. Maryland and NC State still in the hunt for that second spot. Speaking of Maryland, a strong floor run as Taylor Reck put together a season high and the highest floor score, a 9.85.
Taylor does great gymnastics, but it's the energy for me that really stands out. Having fun, but doing the difficulty. You saw that first pass. That was an E tumbling pass.
Who needs Morgan Wallen walk-ins? We've got Brett Nelligan walking in to come join us on the telecast as the 17th year head coach who took over for his legendary father, Bob. We'll talk more about that, I'm sure, as the day goes along. We've got Coach Nelligan with us. Coach, I'm curious about the consistency that you've been able to sustain, obviously, last year with that superb regional score. What did you focus on here coming into this regional today?
We talked last year about, that it feels like the end of season, but for us, that was the beginning. That was the beginning of our focus into this year and the way that we want to compete every time we're at an NCAA regional. We want to be in it. We want to be in it every chance we got. So I think so far we're doing a good job.
Well, Coach, we started out on balance beam, had a little bit of mistake, but I have to give you guys credit. You bounced back on floor. How impressed were you with your team and the leadership that you were able to see?
Yeah, and this has kind of been us all year. We say we're never out. Like at any moment in this meet, we're always in it if we keep fighting. So it dealt with some adversity on beam and then a little bit on floor too with the out of bounds, and they came back strong and finished after that. I'm proud of the way they're fighting. We got to do it for 2 more events.
Halfway done, Coach. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Maryland in the 3 spot, looking to pick up some ground as we highlight the Terps. And the Hall of Famer stepped away in 2009. But his son Brett has been nothing but dominance. 8 consecutive regional appearances. Best score in program history at the regionals last year. And we've already seen Komorowski. Still 2 more rotations to see if the Terps can put together a miracle run here, down just 0.2. halfway through here in Lexington. And how's that for a youngster on the right side of the photo with father and son leading the way, the Nelligan era, as we will step away. Rotation 3 should be something to watch. Stick with us here on ESPN+.
For these gymnasts, all the sacrifices have led them to the NCAA regionals. This is what pressure is all about. The pursuit for a national championship continues through Sunday on ESPN+.
On a busy weekend here in Lexington, one of the top shows in town, the NCAA Gymnastics Regional, as Arkansas leading by 5/10 through 2 rotations, but we are just one of 4 regionals around the country. 2 of them have already moved into the final stage. We talked about yesterday's run from LSU, and now we move over to Tempe, where Nikki Smith was on display.
And Nikki Smith posting the first 10 of the regional, just timing-wise. There were more, but that vault was perfect. Execution, landing. And they get to put that sticker, advancing to the regional final. And they were alongside Georgia, who had some uncharacteristic mistakes, but again, able to advance. So see them doing greatness in the finals. And Florida's very own Sky Blakely. She wasn't just good, she was perfect on uneven bars. Not only doing difficult skills, but doing them perfectly. Such an impressive athlete. It's a collective group putting their name on the banner.
They found it.
Advancing to the regional final alongside Cal. New coaching staff for Cal, seeing the success that they have had this entire season. That's a big moment for the program, advancing to the final.
So we have 8 teams that have moved on to tomorrow's regional final. And a quick look here from Baton Rouge. We talked about that last rotation to Tempe, where Florida and Georgia may have been the favorites coming in, but Michigan State was the top team in the day session over Georgia. And an all Big Ten Corvallis night session to come here tonight, as Rutgers and Washington won the opening round meets yesterday. Meanwhile, we lock into this Lexington regional, where Arkansas has stolen the show. They had a great turnout crowd-wise, and the story has been Morgan Price.
Morgan starting her day on floor, posting a 9-9. But the momentum didn't stop there. She took it to vault. Went 9-9-5. One judge did, in fact, give her a perfect 10. But with the 4, dropping the high and the low and averaging the remaining 2, she put up a 9.95. So really great momentum for her, keeping that energy going. Bars is a strong event for Arkansas.
We will see Price anchoring, unless Coach Weber has a last-minute change, so you never really know. As we get into our 3rd rotation, a look at Mizzou's numbers on floor this season, 7th in their NQS score, as Maryland on vault and NC State on beam. I'll reset the stage. Maryland and NC State are certainly within reach to try to grab that 2nd spot. 2 of the 4 teams in this session move on to Sunday's final at 5 o'clock. Remember, all weekends you can catch all the action on ESPN+. As you see Arkansas with a comfortable lead. And a reminder, talk me through again this 4-judge setup that we have here this weekend.
So that's the most challenging, is that you've got 4 sets of eyes on these athletes, so each judge can see something a little bit different, but that is why they drop the high, they drop the low, and they average the remaining 2. I love the consistency that we are seeing across the board here in Lexington. And Josephine Cogler for Maryland, huge. Full twisting Yurchenko, sticks it.
kicks off our third rotation as Jocelyn Robertson starts off bars for Arkansas.
Jocelyn, a steady lead off. Gorgeous cast handstand there. Just a dismount, double layout. She likes that one, and so do I. Strong performance throughout that routine, start to finish. Well done.
We'll head over to beam where Katie Harper leads it off for NC State.
Little lack of rotation there on that handspring layout. Step out, but gets her rhythm back.
We're going to bring in floor as well as Rayleigh Jackson for Mizzou on the right side of your screen.
Massive double pipe for Rayleigh.
Thank you so much. We welcome our Sports Center audience to this NCAA gymnastics region. Lexington is the site, and the stars have collected as the two SEC teams leading the way thus far. I'm Daniel Gilman alongside the Olympic silver medalist Bridget Sloan. And, well, Bridget, set the stage for us. Two of these four teams will move on to Sunday's regional final, and we've got a great night session as well.
So far, going into this third rotation, Daniel, Arkansas and Missouri have a steady 1-2 punch right now, but the meet's not over yet. These athletes, they don't need to be perfect today. They just need to advance. And Maryland and NC State, they're on the cusp. They need a little bit of help from Missouri and Arkansas if they want to get into that second or first spot. But overall, these teams, I mean, they're showing out.
Rayleigh Jackson with a strong floor routine. Tonight at 7, Oklahoma and Kentucky. As you see the setup from Corvallis and Lexington. We continue on ESPN+. Let's send you back to Sports Center. Meanwhile, moments ago on vault, Raina Engelmeyer.
A fantastic start for Maryland. On an event where we're not going to see a lot of 10-0 start values, but clean vault is going to be the name of the game for them.
So from vault to beam. Following Katie Harper is Caroline Volk, and Volk had that tough fall on bars.
Caroline, triple series. Strong finish there. Handspring, layout, step out. Daniel, you mentioned at the top that she had a mistake on bars, so this is a big moment for her to put that aside and be there for her team. She's a beamer.
On the right side, Elise Tisler. Following the 9.85 from Jackson.
Nice front toss by Caroline, showing that cool, calm collectiveness on balance beam. Dismount, gainer full. small hop on the landing, but again, another strong performance for NC State.
A long time to get to that Katie Harper score, and you see why. A couple deductions and a 9.55.
Final pass for Elise here. 1.5 front layout. Sticks it. Missouri came up with the Fab Floor a couple years back, and I have to say they're living up to the name. Assistant coach Jackie Turpek there, one of the choreographers that just does incredible work.
Here's Anya Reed on vault.
Yurchenko full big step backwards.
She got very close to that horse there as well. As we bring in Leah Smith, her third routine of the day, and her first two have been dazzling.
Little leg separation in that failed a handstand. Leah Smith just really defining steady competitor. And man, can she stick the landing. That's another stuck dismount for Arkansas. Scores are building. You see Jocelyn with that 9.85 and Haley with the 9.875. So scores are looking good over on amusement bars.
Arkansas with a comfortable lead. NC State and Maryland trying to capture that 2 spot held by Mizzou as Autumn seeing her for the second time today.
Good combination. Front toss to back handspring. Very smooth transition.
Meanwhile, the goddess in glasses. Mizzou just has a flow with the nicknames on floor, don't they? It's Ayla Acevedo.
Ayla opening with a double pike. Huge amplitude and airtime there. Autumn on the left side of your screen. Dismount. And that is a stuck landing for NC State. Final pass here. This has been great. Little under rotation there, but she saves it. Would have loved to seen her get that chest up a little bit quicker and really get to the lunge. That can be the safest way to save those mistakes, but strong performances over on floor for Missouri.
And we head back to vault. Taylor Reck, who had that season high on floor.
And a stuck Yurchenko full. She brought the energy on floor and she continues to bring it. Take another look here. Doesn't quite get the pop off the vault, but holds her body position, slightest hike down at the end. But no question about that stuck landing.
Yeah, plenty of smiles down in that corral. Meanwhile, we talked Haley Klein. That's a new career high for the Razorback as Arkansas goes back-to-back with 9.875s. Sets up Avalon Campbell.
Avalon has beautiful lines, pointed toes. Pirouette right on top of the bar. Double tuck. And another Razorback stick. Sticks are contagious. That's the best thing about stuck landings, that they are contagious. And it looks like Arkansas, they've got it going.
Yeah, these Arkansas fans may be able to keep their hotel reservations here in Lexington as Maddie Hall in the 4th spot on beam.
Beautiful handspring layout, step out. Just floats to her finishes.
The music goes silent. You know what that means? Another floor routine is coming. It's Kaya Tonskanen. Always good when you have to leave out a 9.825 if you're Mizzou.
Gorgeous, full twisting double back. Dismount for Maddie. Tries to hold on to that finish. When I talked to assistant Jackie Turpak, she told me this story. She takes her crown off. And throughout this routine, she is a queen. Throughout the day, and then at night, she's a warrior. So it goes back and forth between a smiling routine and a little intense. And I just love the storytelling that these athletes are able to do.
Just beautiful.
So great. The artistry, the tumbling, that was fantastic.
Back over to vault, Logan Buckman.
Big Yurchenko full, tries to hold on to that landing.
Maryland and NC State just trying to keep pace, but this has been a strong run from Mizzou here in row 3 as Allison Cucci continues the dominance for the Razorbacks.
Gorgeous pack to the low bar. You saw her height, and she's going to go right back up to the high bar. Allison had that fantastic ball in the anchor position. Holds on to that landing, but the dip of those shoulders is going to be a deduction.
Takes us back to beam. Addison Tackett. She is seeking the first 9-8 here in this event for NC State.
Little balance check there. NC State, a great beam team, but they just look a little tight. Almost questioning their finishes.
After Tonskanen with a 9-9, Kennedy Griffin are the top 25 gymnasts on floor. On the right side of your screen here.
Dismount for Addison. Back handspring, 1.5 twist. Just a small hop on that landing. Kennedy, so fun to watch on this event. Huge double pike to open things up. Through the double tuck. Great amplitude on those leaps for Kennedy. And another strong performance, and I have to say performance because Missouri's not doing floor. They are performing floor.
It is transcendiary. Meanwhile, a moment ago on vault, Katrina Mendez-Abolnik finishes out Maryland's rotation.
One of the 10-0 start values here. Yurchenko 1.5. Tiniest shuffle on the landing, but overall, that vault was great.
And we head over to one of our stars here in Lexington as Morgan Price, 9.9 and above on both to start the day. She will anchor bars with very little pressure as Arkansas has 9.8s or higher on all 5.
Maloney to the high bar, right back down to the low bar. Beautiful lines here, legs glued together. Dismount. She's had a 9.9 or better on rotation 1 and 2, and I don't know what the judges are going to take on that routine because that dismount just solidified perfection.
And Bridget, remember, she had a perfect 10 while at Fisk University, became the first HBCU gymnast ever with a perfect 10. That was on bars. We will stay tuned as Sanaya Thomas closes out what has been a tough beam run for NC State. But here is a show. The Specialist of the Year in the SEC, Hannah Horton. She can hang over on the floor as well.
Huge double layout, my goodness. This floor routine was inspired by one of her favorite artists, Tyler, the Creator. So they just mashed together a bunch of songs, and she just performs at such a high level. And Sanaya on your left, finishing that beam routine. Strong performances overall for NC State, but just a little tight on the finishes. Looked like they were just questioning their finishes there on beam.
Meanwhile, Morgan Price continues her run, a 9.925 on bars.
Front pike, step out, double tuck. I'm at a loss of words because that was amazing. Tumbling, performance, all across the board.
We move over to vaults and the specialist Nova Steruk.
Tries to fight for that landing. She has waited 2 rotations to get her event going. Nice job.
Steruk from Bridgeport as we move over to bars. For the second time today, we see Charlie Boehner.
Maloney failed a handstand. Great fight so far through this bar routine. Little short there. Big smile at the end. It looked like she wasn't quite ready for that landing. Almost a little bit of a surprise, but really strong from start to finish.
And now another Ball State Cardinal in Delaney McMahon. And remember, the top specialist advances to Fort Worth. We will have 16 specialists and 4 all-arounds competing on April 16th in Dickies Arena. Semifinals on ESPN2, and then the championship on ABC. The individuals will be in the semis group. There's that score for Horton at 9.925 as Zoe Middleton enters the right side of your screen. How about the chirps for Ball State? They brought the crowd, and now the fans at home get to enjoy an all-Ball State 2-box.
Dismount for Delaney on that left, and a stuck routine. She's happy with that one, and her teammate Zoe.
Ball State, who brought the crowd down. We've seen the girl with the feathers. Oh, there's a second one. I love it. Arts and crafts to the max, Bridget.
Big jump there, front 1.5. Supposed to be a split jump, but had a little too much energy there. But nice floor routine for Zoe.
And that'll round out our individuals here in rotation 3. And you can see in the bottom right, Missouri, it was a little testy after 2, but what a jump from the Tigers here in this third rotation as Mizzou on floor collecting a 49.450, now sitting 0.6 above Maryland, trying to grab those 2 spots to advance to Sunday.
Well, Danielle, I have loved what I have seen so far, really across the board. And one thing that has really stood out to me is the fight that these athletes are having. Whether they have a mistake or not, they're able to push that aside, show that grit, and show just why NCAA gymnastics is so great.
And a look at Shannon Welker coming over to our corner. One more look at this run from Mizzou on floor.
Big tumbling, but even bigger performances. The artistry that the Fab floor is able to do, we don't talk about it enough.
And the celebrations as well. We're joined now by the High Five King there and Coach Welker. Coach, thanks for joining us. It was my first time watching you guys on floor. How can you describe the story that's being told for some of these gymnasts?
Yeah, our Jackie does our choreography, so I can't take credit there. I help out with the tumbling, but she's doing that storytelling part, which I think she translates into the floor routine and just really entertaining stuff there, in addition to some great tumbling. So really proud of them. That was a good rotation for us. I felt like we started to get into our groove a little bit better there, so heading over to vault for a strong rotation here.
Well, Coach, we're headed, just like you said, headed to vault, but you guys have had a lights-out day. What do you want to see them do on vault in this fourth rotation?
Yeah, just solid, just tight, in the air, clean landings, and, just have fun with it, too. I think that makes our performances better, and it's fun for our fans, too.
Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yep. All right, thank you.
And a big leap for Mizzou there in rotation 3. He shouted out Jackie Turpak, the assistant coach who helps out with those routines. As we look at the Welker era, starting in the 40s, 10 years ago, and what a rise it has been for Mizzou, all culminating in that top 3 finish in 2025, a podium in sight as well, at least in goals for Coach Welker and his Tigers, as we will keep this one rolling along. You're watching the NCAA Gymnastics Championships. We're in the regionals here in Lexington, in the home of the NCAA Gymnastics here on ESPN+. 3 rotations down here in Lexington, and it looks to be an SEC party through the first of our 2 sessions here on ESPN Plus, as coverage of all the NCAA gymnastics regionals continues today with second round action here in Lexington, alternating with Corvallis, with all meets available on ESPN Plus. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all NCAA championships, as you see the national championship on ABC. Here we are in Lexington, and it just happened to work out that Kentucky grabbed a top 16 seed and is hosting a regional for the first time since 2010, 15 plus years, but it has been continued success for the Wildcats. A team that started the season so slow, Bridget, sitting at 39th in the NQS. Somehow Kentucky grabs the top 16 seed. And a look at our Lexington bracket here, and what a night, SEC and Big Ten to follow at 7 o'clock.
I have to give a huge shout out to head coach Tim Garrison, because it is all about peaking at the right time. And you know what? Kentucky is doing that. They might have had a little rocky start to the season, but look at them now. And that just goes to show you the build that program has had this season.
She's the 9-time NCAA champ, Bridget Sloan. I'm Daniel Gilman. Thanks for stopping in with us. We've got 2 tremendous teams that have completely balled out today. Arkansas has been head over heels the best team. What have you seen from them, and a little bit of what Mizzou has done in that last rotation to really pick up the slack?
Ultimately, Daniel, I have seen energy. The energy has not stopped for those 2 teams, and they have a very healthy lead in that 1-2 spot. All they need to do in this 4th rotation is their normal. They are fantastic on balance beam and vault.
Well, it's been 4 years in a row that Mizzou has claimed the SEC Specialist of the Year. Hannah Horton grabbed it as a co-specialist this year, and she has been phenomenal today.
Hannah started her day on uneven bars. One of my favorites on this event, just a smooth bar swinger. But she took her performance to floor. Big tumbling, even better artistry, and she has yet to go on vault. She's a great vaulter, so that energy that she is bringing, I expect to see it on vault.
What are you looking to see from both of these SEC schools going into the 4th rotation?
Again, doing their normal. These SEC teams, these teams here are so incredibly talented, and they just have to remember how talented they are. Don't think about the scores. Don't think about what's going on tomorrow. Being in the moment, living in the moment, and doing your best gymnastics.
Well, we have seen from the stick celebrations that Mizzou and Arkansas are enjoying themselves as well. And it helps to be in a familiar place, facing Kentucky on the road every other year or so. As we look at our 4th rotation with NC State on floor, Mizzou top 11 in the country on all 4 rotations for the first time in their program's history. And if you're Arkansas, do you know your score? Are you going out a little freer because you know that you've been sticking everything, or is it still kind of tunnel vision?
It really depends on the athletes. These athletes, in my opinion, across the board, perform their best when they're performing free, when they're having fun, because they have done these routines so many times. It's kind of like going on autopilot. And I feel like we're seeing more and more of that mentality throughout this competition, because like I mentioned earlier at the top, this energy, it just keeps rising.
It'll continue rising because the hosts, as Kentucky fans have already filled in, will be overshadowed, I imagine, by the nation of Sooner fans that are flocking to Lexington. But, you know, we don't know. Kentucky may show out in a way unexpected. It's a tough ticket to grab a hotel this weekend. The famous Keeneland Racehorse Track Run started today for the next 2.5 weeks. So I have to give credit to all the fans that made the trip, because booking a hotel could not have been easy here on the busiest week of the year in Lexington. As Vault sits awaiting Mizzou. 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN Plus. We will have the night session. 2 more spots up for grabs in Sunday's regional final, as Kaya Tonskinen, her 3rd routine of the day here on Vault.
Front pike with a half. Just a little short on that rotation, but that's a 10-0 start value to lead off in your vault rotation. Becoming more and more popular to see those big vaults to start things off and get that momentum going.
Over to Maryland, who are 6/10 back of that 2 spot. As Sarah Seville was a standout at the Pennsylvania Regional last season, had a 9-9 here on bars.
Nice transition so far. Dismount. And that's a stuck dismount for Maryland. Looked a little rushed throughout the routine, but was able to capitalize and get that strong finish.
Priscilla Park makes her 2026 regional debut here, leading off beam for Arkansas.
Daniel, she's waited a long time for this beam routine. And in the lead-off position.
Over on floor, the freshman Emerson Fisk.
Head coach Jordan Weaver told me that her team is mentally prepared on balance beam. Priscilla showcasing that strong mentality. Emerson on the right side of your screen. Strong lead off so far for floor. And Priscilla with a stuck dismount. Great start for Arkansas on balance beam. One and a half layout. Really nice work for Emerson. Leading off on floor.
Sends us over to vault. Rayleigh Jackson led off on beam and floor in the 2 spot.
Yurchenko 1.5. She liked that one, and I have to say, I did too. Great height, great distance. Controlling the power is something these athletes work endlessly on in the gym.
And experiencing the emotional reaction is such an underrated aspect of coming and watching gymnastics in person, as Megan Bingham looks to follow the 9.775 from Seville.
Great fight for Megan. Working the bars here. Dismount, double layout, tiniest hop. Maryland going into this 4th rotation, trailing Arkansas and Missouri, but they're not out of the fight just yet. They have not given up. They are working to get the best bar scores that they can.
Meanwhile, Arkansas, a 9.85 from Park, sets up Haley Klein, who set a career high earlier on bars. We bring in Ava Myers on the right side of your screen on floor. Myers all tournament at the ACCs.
Haley Klein on the left side, just very sharp with her finishes. Dismount for Haley. Strong beam set. Head coach Jordan Weaver, she likes it. Pass. Ava, one of the athletes that really just emphasizes showmanship throughout her routine.
Bringing the energy with Tommy Trumpets to finish it off as the New Jersey native in the 2 spot there for NC State as we move back to vault. And another high score from Rayleigh Jackson, 9.85, brings up Kennedy Griffin.
Yurchenko full. It's a 9.95 start value. So what you're seeing Missouri do, they started with 2 10-0 vaults, and then they added Kennedy in the mix because Kennedy's Yurchenko full is one of the best. She gets that height, the distance.
Over to bars, Gianna Ruffing for Maryland.
Nice combination there. Gets her groove back. A little short in that calf handstand. Couple little steps at the end of that routine.
Now on beam, Tammy Weaver looking to continue this run of 9.8s for Arkansas. We have to go back to the second rotation the last time the Razorbacks had a sub 9.8 score.
Gorgeous. Handspring layout step out for Cammie.
Meg Adler now on floor. You hear that Wolfpack howl to start their routines.
Saw Cammie do that straddle jump twice, and you needed that connection bonus, so really smart thinking for her to get that 10-0 start value. Dismount. Small hop backwards. Not the routine we're used to seeing from Cammie. Handspring Rudy straddle jump, saves it with that 4-inch mat. Meg coming after a pair of 9.8. And a nice performance for Meg and NC State on floor.
And we built up Hannah Horton here on floor. She flies nearly as fast as the speed of light. Watch this get up.
Yurchenko 1.5 here. Excellent job. Daniel, I saw her in warm-up just focusing on her finish, dialing in. Head coach Shannon Welker, he's got to be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, I wonder what that little comment was. Then they saw they were on camera, and everyone was like, all right, let's focus. Anya Reed on bars for Maryland. They are keeping out that 9.675 from Ruffin.
Nice ginger to shoot over. Holds her body position. Double layout. Holds on to that finish.
Now on beam, Allison Cucci. You know, it takes some shoulder strength there from Coach Nelligan to fist pump the amount of times he does.
Acro series, handspring layout, step out, fights for that finish. Aggressive front aerial for Allison.
Autumn Rardin. Here's the howl and kicks off floor on the right.
Beautiful extension for Allison. All she has is the dismount. Round off 1.5. Tiny hop on the finish. Can't quite hold on to that stuck landing.
Meanwhile, Hannah Horton has completed her day with 3 for 3, 9.9 or higher for Mizzou, who are safely into Sunday along with fellow conference mates in Arkansas. And we head right back to Mizzou on vault as we set the scene here with Eccles.
And a Yurchenko full for Kamara. Big celebration there. And Autumn finishing up on floor exercise for NC State. She's one of those athletes that the coaching staff said she's so coachable. She's such a joy in this vault. Missouri is on fire on vault right now. That was Kamara Eccles with that 9.95 start value. See what the judges do.
We head over to Chelsea Dennis. Now, if you're just joining us, after 2 rotations, Mizzou had a 2/10 lead over NC State and Maryland. They have since separated to the point where they have clinched their spot into Sunday's regional final.
Front pike with a half for Chelsea. A little low on that landing. Would love to see her pick up her chest just a little bit more.
And how fitting that it's Morgan Price who can technically clinch the spot for Arkansas. She just needs an average routine here, and the Razorbacks are dancing on to Sunday.
Handspring layout, step out. So sharp.
Floor enters the right side of your picture here with Ellie Hadrick following a 9.85. Great scores for the Wolfpack here on floor.
And Morgan Price, so elegant, so powerful on floor and on vault, and is able to dial it in on balance beam, keep that calm composure. round-off double twist. Kind of sunk into that landing a little bit, but saved it with a small step. Really, that was the biggest deduction in that entire routine. Hadrick, one of those athletes, she's a total team player. Head coach Kim Landris said she is there for her team in the gym, outside of the gym. One of the stars on this NC State team.
Back over to vaults, coming off of a career-high 9-9 for Eccles. Elise Tisler, the anchor.
Another huge Yurchenko full. Daniel, we talk so much about start value on vault, but sometimes it's not worth it doing the 10-0 start values, as you see Kamara Eccles with that 9.9. Really impressive work from Missouri. Showing their technique is just impeccable.
Maddie Komaraski closes out the meet for Maryland here on bars.
Nice pack belcher to the low bar for Maddie. Short on that handstand half pirouette. Time for her to get it back. She's an elegant bar swinger. And she sticks the dismount. Awesome job for Maryland across the board.
That's an emotional routine as well for a senior. There's Jocelyn Robertson, just a sophomore, and look at those numbers on beam.
This is new for Jocelyn. She changed that from a switch leap because she kept getting frustrated that the judges were taking a deduction on her switch leap. And she said, "Can I just change it?" And head coach Jordan Weaver said, "Sure." And sure enough, it is working out for her. She wants that perfect 10.
And on the right side of your picture, final routine for NC State here in this 2026 season, Sanaya Thomas.
Jocelyn on the left side, putting on a clinic.
What a job Mizzou has done at the exact moment. Look at the bottom right. Of course, there is still one more score to come in. And imagine that Robertson is going to grab it.
Daniel, she wants that perfect 10. We'll see if she gets it because that was flawless. And Sanaya on floor. Sanaya is a very serious competitor. Final pass, front layout to Rudy.
We will keep you updated on Robertson's score. She is the program record holder with a 9.975.
And a great performance from Sanaya in that anchor position.
We head over to our final round of individual qualifiers. It is the all-around from Ball State and Zoe Middleton. It will not be a perfect 10 for Jocelyn today. I'll give you that update.
I saw Zoe. Nice height on that Yurchenko full. Little pike down But Zoe Middleton, really fantastic day for her.
We have 3 Ball State individualists here in the 4th rotation as Ashley Szymanski, her 3rd consecutive regional on bars.
Blind change, full pirouette to Ginger, right down to the low bar. Great execution so far. Just the dismount. Her fans love it.
And a 2-time MAC Specialist of the Year, Ashley Szymanski, hoping to hear her name. One of the 16 headed to Fort Worth is Heidi Schultz, 2nd team All-MAC Conference. We'll get our final scores here on the right, and for the first time today, someone generates a 9.9 plus on beam, and it's Jocelyn Robertson.
Athlete front toss. Strong finish on that front toss.
Bring in our final gymnast of the day session, Ava Molina, who has had a breakout season, 1st team All-MAC.
And on the left side, Heidi with that triple series, handspring, layup, step out, step out. Had to fight for the finish. Dismount for Heidi, and sticks the landing. Round off 1.5 layout.
Meanwhile, Szymanski, we just saw on bars with a 9.9. We will not know here today who the individualists headed to Fort Worth are, so check them out online at the end of the Corvallis first session.
Ava putting the crown on for the queen she is.
What a strong reaction from the contingent that made the trip down to support all these Ball State gymnasts. It's been fun to see and showing love there after that routine, as it's Arkansas who takes top billing, and the 2 SEC teams are moving on to Sunday's regional final as Morgan Price, Jocelyn Robertson are our top 2 all-arounds. Price with a 39.575. And that strong 9.95 by Robertson just a moment ago on beam. They are smiling their way to Sunday.
And Daniel, this was the first time Arkansas had 4 all-arounders. Big moment for them. And when I asked head coach Jordan Weaver, I specifically asked, is that a good thing, a bad thing? And she said it's a great thing because their athletes are performing on all cylinders. And speaking of amazing athletes,
we've got Morgan Price. She made the trip quickly. Morgan, congratulations. What a day. I want to ask you first off, going back-to-back with your sister on floor, what was that moment like when you found out and obviously performed it?
Year with my sister here, so when I found out, I was going right before her on the floor and she was right after me, and we both hit our routines to the best of our ability. It was just so much fun.
Well, Morgan, I have a sister. Now, I don't know how well we would be on a team together, but the bond that you guys are sharing this season, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means everything. Me and the whole team, honestly, one of our missions and values of this year is sisterhood, and we really just carry that throughout our whole season, and it just means everything to us.
Morgan, get back to your team. Thank you so much. Go put a sticker on the wall.
Thank you.
Morgan Price, the all-around standout who takes the crown home today, helps lead Arkansas as we take a look at a few of her top performances here, Bridget.
Morgan Price, she was sensational on floor, and this was the event that really got the momentum going for Arkansas. They took it to vault. She sticks her landings. But what really impressed me was balance being the hardest event in NCAA gymnastics. She's sharp with her finishes, and the sisterhood that we are seeing throughout Arkansas's entire team. These are the moments that they will never forget. Put your name on the wall. Arkansas is advancing to the finals.
A 197-175. More than justice to lead the way here. And there is a chance, Bridget, if Kentucky represents at home and Oklahoma does as well, it's an all-SEC regional final here on Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern.
Daniel, I wasn't going to say it, but I was thinking the exact same thing. And we talk about the dominance in NCAA gymnastics across the board. And the SEC adding Oklahoma to the conference has really only elevated the stage from all aspects. Every single team is stepping their game up.
So I wonder, and I'll ask you this, Bridget, having taken home the hardware a few times, what do you do in the off day tomorrow now if you're Arkansas and Mizzou?
Well, probably the same thing I'm going to do tomorrow is relax. It's really important for these athletes to be able to come into the gym, do amazing gymnastics, but also let their minds relax. Mental toughness is so important, but mental relaxation is just as important as physical. So making sure that they're keeping their body nice and calm tomorrow, and really just excited to come in and do another day of great gymnastics.
Now a look at our second finalists as Missouri comes out incredibly strong in that third rotation with a 49.45 on floor. Finishes it with a 49.275 on vault. And there's the sticker. Arkansas and Mizzou are moving on. Arkansas and Missouri will surely be locked in watching tonight. Oklahoma, Kentucky, Ohio State, and Rutgers, two of those four, will join these two teams Sunday at 5 here on ESPN+. And now the real emotions start pouring out. Meanwhile, we had a tremendous slew of individualists come out today. And I will walk you through some of the top individualists. We talked about the 9.9 from Charlie Boehner on vault. We also saw a 9.9 from Ashley Szymanski on bars. We had some great floor routines, but none were better than Ava Molina there in that final rotation with a 9.875. But of course, Bridget, doesn't matter how well you do compared to the other gymnasts here. It's all around the country. The top 16 individualists will head to the event specialist stage, the biggest stage in the Dickies Arena. Just a few weeks as we see Mizzou start to ramp into their prep. And we will be back at 7 o'clock. Set your timers. This place will be jumping as the defending champs, Oklahoma, make their regional debuts here in 2026. Joined by one of the hottest teams in the second half of the year in Kentucky. Meanwhile, you can head over to Corvallis at 4 o'clock Eastern to catch that first session as we wrap things up from Lexington for our entire crew. Produced by Bill Amon, directed by Aladdin Freeman. For Bridget Sloan, I'm Daniel Gilman. Wrapping things up from an SEC-dominated first session here in the 2026 NCAA Gymnastics Regionals. This has been a presentation of ESPN. We'll talk to you again at 7 o'clock tonight.